Hi students, welcome to the class. So in the previous class, we have completed with the polysaccharide information, the starch, cellulose and glycogen we have seen. And we have seen the small introduction related to the concept of proteins. Now in the present class, we'll consider the continuation of the proteins as a very important biomolecule. Now, as we all know, so the word proteose from which the protein is taken. So it is derived from the Greek word proteos. Accordingly, it is having the meaning of the prime importance or a primary refers to with respect to our living system as biomolecules are taken. Proteins are the most abundant class of biomolecules in the living system. The most abundant class of biomolecules will be the proteins, and these proteins are responsible for our normal growth and maintenance. So proteins are essential for our growth and maintenance. Because of that given importance, so the word proteose from which protein is derived. You can easily understand the word protein is derived from the Greek word, that is proteos. This proteose is having the meaning of primary or prime importance. So because of the primary importance within us, so which is necessary for the normal growth and maintenance, so the word protein is taken from this Greek word proteose. And if we take the proteins, so proteins are the most abundant class of biomolecule. Among all the available biomolecules, the most abundant biomolecule is protein. So proteins are rich in milk, cheese, pulses, any meat, whatever we take. So these are the sources of food, so which are rich in proteins, and these proteins are responsible for and are very essential and crucial biomolecules for normal growth and maintenance of the individual. The normal growth and maintenance of the individual or the organism is possible through this proteins. Just to give the example of that, so we know each and every chemical reaction taking place in a living system. So the biochemical reactions, any reactions leading to catabolic pathway or anabolic pathway, even a simple dissolution of water. So we are going to see all such chemical reactions in the living system. So they are catalyzed. And the catalyst of the living system is enzyme. Hence, each respective chemical change within us is catalyzed by enzymes. Such enzymes belongs to proteins. All enzymes are proteins, except one class of enzyme, ribozyme, where RNA acts as enzyme. The remaining all are proteinaceous in nature. So that gives the importance of what is protein role in living system. Just to give the importance that enzymes can be recalled. We have plenty of role related to the proteins. Now, in the present class, we'll try to understand such a very important biomolecule protein, how to learn. Now, if we take any protein, so the fundamental unit of building the proteins is amino acids. Amino acids are considered as it is alpha amino acids. Why it is called as alpha and all in detail we'll try to learn now. So amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. Proteins are made up of amino acids. How these amino acids are building the proteins to that structural level we'll try to learn in the present unit. So first we'll understand what are amino acids, what is the classification of amino acid, then how the amino acids will lead the respective proteins in their structural levels, that is primary, secondary and tertiary, followed by quaternary structure of protein and the stability aspect of protein. So we'll try to discuss. So with the normal concept of biological functionality as well as the denaturation concept. Now we'll try to learn with the concept of amino acids in detail. As discussed, amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. Amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. Now, how the word amino acid is taken, we'll try to understand and we'll try to approach. So, what are all the different ways of learning the classification of amino acids? So, these are the building blocks of proteins. And those amino acids which builds the protein, the primary importance of amino acid is to participate in protein synthesis. So the precursors for the protein synthesis in the process of the central dogma of molecular biology. So that is, you know that, so DNA will be transcribed to RNA, then so RNA, so we are going to see through a process of translation, so we'll be producing the proteins. So and in the process of that, so we know that DNA has the ability to undergo self replication. So by considering this central dogma of molecular biology, so we can understand the role here. So there, the protein synthesis, so is having the precursors, that is the amino acid units to join. So it is the replication process, DNA to RNA. So it is transcription and production of protein or synthesis of protein through RNA is translation, which are huge complicated biochemical pathways, the mechanism, so which maintains our normal growth and maintenance. Any protein to synthesize, the information is stored in DNA, which is transcribed to RNA, messenger RNA. So from the messenger RNA, the information will be transferred through tRNA, and the respective information is carried through amino acyl tRNA. So then, so that will be taking in the protein synthesizing factories, that is ribosomes will give the site, so where the ribosome will come and bind on the mRNA and will initiate the protein synthesis. The translation occurs there. So through translation, a respective protein will be synthesized. Now here, if you consider this particular translation pathway, any protein to synthesize in us, so it is possible only through these amino acids. So amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. So these are the precursors for the synthesis of proteins. And apart from the protein synthesis, amino acids are also having some other role. So that will give the importance there. So the amino acids main role is to participate in protein synthesis. Hence, amino acids which participate in protein synthesis are called as standard amino acids. The amino acids which are involved in the synthesis of proteins, so they are called as standard amino acids. So here the name standard to indicate so which involve in the protein synthesis. And those amino acids which are not involved in protein synthesis, so they are called as non-standard amino acids. The amino acids so which are not involved in protein synthesis, those amino acids which are not involved in the protein synthesis, so they are referred to as non-standard amino acids. Just to represent it, I am using AA for amino acids. Now, so what is this amino acid exactly in terms of chemical view and its formula wise to understand? So amino acids so derived their name so due to the presence of amine group and acidic group, that is carboxylic group. Due to the presence of this amine group and acidic group in the same compound, so the word amino acid is taken. So amino acids got their name due to the presence of an amine group and an acidic group, so which is bonded to the carbon. So hence, if we observe a general structure of amino acid, if you concentrate on the general structure, all are alpha amino acids. So it is also referred with respect to the configuration. So all the amino acids, the configuration is L configuration, hence they are also called as L amino acids. So they are considered as alpha amino acids or L amino acids. Now to understand this general structure, so L, the more electronegative group on left hand side. So here the two main groups are amine group and carboxylic group. So among this, the more electronegative element nitrogen bonded will take it on the left hand side to designate as L amino acid. And practice of writing the NH2 towards left hand side and the acidic group on right hand side. Then it is bonded with hydrogen and an R group. So here the R group is a differentiating group, so which differentiates from one amino acid to another amino acid. So R here, so it will be differentiating group from one amino acid to another amino acid. So in detail, if you concentrate the respective classification, so you can able to understand very easily. Now this is the simple general structure. So general structure is expected as question for the examination practice. So you can write a carbon followed by a tetravalency satisfying groups. So you can concentrate amine group to indicate the L amino acid information, then acidic group on right hand side. Above you write H, below a differentiating group, so which is R group. So this is a representation of a general structure of amino acid. Except one amino acid, we have all the remaining amino acid as chirally active, that is chiral carbon is present there. How it is, we'll try to understand with the classification. Now we'll try to understand what are the different ways of classifying the amino acids. Before going to the classification, we'll try to understand what are the total number of amino acids so which are seen in proteins. So there are 20 different amino acids are present in the nature. 20 different amino acids, so which are all naturally occurring amino acids. So all the naturally occurring amino acids will always have the L configuration, that is a more electronegative group on left hand side, since they are all L amino acids. So there are 20 different such amino acids, all are naturally occurring amino acids, so seen in proteins. So if you take any proteins, the proteins will be made up of only the 20 different amino acids. So 20, all the 20 may not be seen in each protein, but these 20 are the main types of amino acids, what we are going to see as the building blocks of proteins. Such amino acids, if you remember their names, so it will be a great importance for your competitive exams, which will be very oftenly asked question. So multiple choices will be given. If you know all the amino acid names, then only you can able to segregate them in the respective classification. And before going to the classification, so we'll try to understand, so what are the 20 amino acids? If you are really interested to learn, to concentrate clearly, so I will give a simple code for you to remember the names of the amino acid. So I can remember with a simple code: gas called T. So gas called T. You split the words, three words like you can write. So first a three letter, then a four letter, then a one letter. Gas called P. Then to A of the gas, you consider a tag and you assume you have joined through a will for it. So just a blind method of remembering all the names under one heading. I'm using this. Consider, so you're having a tag for it with the help of will. So assume respective category wise information is T we can take just to remember the names. So the first letters I am mentioning. Assume for this we have a CM. So to the C you can add M. So A will add with a G, AG. Then to the L, so two letters HA, Ha. So each are having the importances. We'll try to learn that. Now if you count, so there are 8 letters in the main root chain here. So 8 plus 3, 11. 11 plus 3, it is 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and to this T we can consider one more T here. P square like you can remember. Now this is one simple way for remembering. So all the amino acid names together. So I will tell the names of it and how to remember. If you follow the sequence of this, you can easily concentrate. Now in this, we'll try to expand now the each names. So if you're really interested, you concentrate to remember all. It is must for your competitive exams. So divide gas called P, consider a tag, consider a will, so a reservation like category ST, a CM. Then there are significances of these amino acids which we have taken together. So all will try to learn. So practice of this way first, then go for remembering their names. If we take, so here G for the amino acid name, here it is glycine. G is glycine. So I will write the main root word names. So that is what it is written here. So A for alanine. A is alanine. Then S is serine. C is cysteine. A is an acid, aspartic acid. L is lysine. Hope few names you have heard. So in the biology. So or from your school level, when you are relating at least few amino acid names you would have heard. So try to recollect the information. T for tryptophan. T for tryptophan. Then P for proline. So these are the names of the 8 amino acids which I have written in a straight chain. And whatever the other names attached, we'll try to consider. Now here T is for tyrosine, A for aspergine, G for glutamine. Tyrosine, aspergine, glutamine. So we'll consider this VIL. It is valine isoleucine. So they are having similar pronunciation. You can consider valine, leucine, isoleucine, and leucine. Valine, isoleucine, leucine. Then if you take this, so it is serine and T for threonine. It is threonine. And M for methionine. M for methionine. Here A for aspartic acid. Similarly, you remember one more acid. G for glutamic acid. A for aspartic acid. You remember G for glutamic acid, acidic amino acids. L is lysine, which is a basic amino acid. We learned that classification. So these two, which is tagged with this, is also basic amino acid. So H for histidine. You have heard about histamine, so which is responsible for allergic response in the living system. Histamine is a derivative from this. A, it is arginine. So lysine, histidine, arginine, these three will come under basic amino acid classification. We learned that. Then T for tryptophan, which is aromatic amino acid, which contains aromatic ring in it. Similarly, the attached one P, so which is phenylalanine. Phenylalanine. So this is also aromatic amino acid. So and one special case P, so it is proline. So this is already it is mentioned here, not required to write. So don't get confused. So these are the amino acid names, the 20 amino acid names to remember. So concentrate these 8 amino acids first. What are the respective amino acids linked to it? You try to learn first. Then practice their names to remember. Glycine, alanine, serine, cysteine, aspartic acid, lysine, tryptophan, proline. Then it is tyrosine, aspargine, glutamine, valine, isoleucine, leucine, threonine, M methionine, so G glutamic acid, H histidine, A arginine, T phenylalanine. So whatever these information along with the code, it also helps us to remember the classification also. So all these, if you practice, so classification will be a very easy point for you to remember. So you can expect a very important 1-mark questions based on the classification or 2-mark questions. So if you remember this flow, so you can easily able to explain the classification and you can give the examples. Now, so we'll try to understand one by one the classification. So we'll take the first classification of amino acid. So we'll consider the main classifications. So there are various levels of classification are there. So we'll try to take few important classification. The first one we'll try to take it as, so what are acidic amino acids, basic amino acids, and neutral amino acids. So we'll take the first classification. Each classification will try to mention here only. So keep on observing and note the examples clearly. Now, so if you recall the general structure of amino acid, so what you can observe in the general structure of amino acid is that what you can notice here. So if you take in the general structure of amino acid, so there is one amino group and there is one acidic group. So it contains one amino group and one acidic group. Is that correct? Yes. So if in an amino acid only these two groups are there and in the side chain no indication of any acidic or basic groups, then the molecule will be neutral in its form. So the nature of the basic group is that so it will accept a proton in the solution and will become NH3 plus. And the nature of acidic group is that it will donate a proton and will become COO minus. NH3 plus and COO minus will be the forms which we are going to see in the solution. Please don't get confused. Concentrate this clearly as the example based amino acid names are very important for competitive exam. So I am taking the biomolecules unit in more depth. The reason is so it is having NEET weightage more. So those students who are focusing for NEET examination, please try to understand it and remember all the names. So as well as for CET and JEE also. So the unit is very easy for you to answer if you remember all these points. So now we'll come back. Now in the general structure, we are going to see that amino group and acidic group is present. Amino group will accept a proton and exhibit its basic nature. Carboxylic group will donate a proton and will exhibit its acidic nature. After exhibiting its basic and acidic nature, so these groups will not interact. So hence, so they remain neutral. So those amino acids, so which contains only one acidic group and one amino group in them, so that is with the general structure what we have written, so they are all neutral amino acid. From the known 20, 15 amino acids are neutral amino acids. Now, if you remember acidic and basic, the remaining will be neutral. Hence, we'll concentrate to remember the examples of acidic and basic. Now, what are acidic amino acids? So, acidic amino acids are those. So, this will be the most important expected 1 mark, 2 mark question. So, acidic amino acids, if we take, so acidic amino acids will exhibit acidic character in the solution. So they will have common one carboxylic group and one amino group. In addition to that, acidic amino acids in their side chain, that is in the R group. R group is its side chain group, that is this R group. In its R group, it has extra acidic groups. So the presence of these extra acidic groups will make the compound to exhibit acidic nature. And such amino acids are only 2 among the 20. The 2 acidic amino acids are, so in the name itself acid is there, so you can observe it is aspartic acid and glutamic acid. It is aspartic acid and another one glutamic acid. Aspartic acid and glutamic acid are the only 2 examples of acidic amino acids among the 20. So 2 among the 20 are only acidic amino acids. So that means they exhibit extra acidic groups in their side chains. Similarly, so basic amino acids are those, so in which in their side chain we are going to see extra basic groups, that is in their R group. So we are going to see, so amino groups or basic groups. Due to the presence of these extra amino groups in their side chain, so they exhibit the basic character, and we have 3 amino acids, so which are basic in nature. So immediately after acidic amino acid, the next 3 amino acids, what it is there, lysine, arginine, histidine. So these are the basic amino acids. It is lysine, arginine, and histidine. From the 20 amino acid, only 3 amino acids will exhibit basic nature due to the presence of extra amino groups in their side chain. Hence, they are called as basic amino acids. So this is very important. If you remember these 5 amino acid names clearly, remaining anything you can take. So they are all neutral amino acids. That means they possess only one carboxylic group and one amino group in them. So this is our first classification to learn. So what are acidic, what are basic amino acid will be generally asked. Neutral will not be asked. You can remember the concept of neutral amino acid. So you concentrate acidic amino acid and basic amino acid as 2 mark important question or 1 mark question to give it as example. That means give an example of acidic amino acid or give an example for basic amino acid, or they may ask what are acidic amino acids, give example, or what are basic amino acids, give example. Hope this information is clear. Now we'll try to go for the next classification of amino acids. The next classification according to the syllabus which is important is essential amino acids and non-essential amino acids. So we'll take the first one, essential amino acids. So as the name indicates, it is essential. So essential means it is needed. So the amino acids, so this classification is based on our requirement, that is the requirement of human beings. So we are classifying the amino acids into 2. So those amino acids, so which are not synthesized in our body, which are not synthesized in our body. That means we are not able to synthesize such particular amino acid. That means we need to take that through our external source. Our external source will be the food. Through our diet, we are going to take such amino acids. So plant products will be the most suitable for all these essential amino acids. And there are certain proteins that we'll try to consider later in the discussion. Amino acids which are not synthesized in our body and need to be taken through external diet are called as essential amino acids. So essential, as the name indicates, they are needed. So as we are not able to synthesize in our body, they are needed to us. And how we are going to take that? So it is through our external diet, we are going to take such particular amino acids. So hence, so in simple to remember for you from the previous classification, all the basic amino acids you can remember. So all the basic amino acids are essential to us. That is lysine, arginine. Just to remember, so I am giving this. I will give one more code for you how to understand the essential and non-essential with their names to give its classification. Now, so there are 10 amino acids among the known 20 are essential to us. So we can able to synthesize only 10 amino acids, so which are non-essential. And the remaining 10, our body is not able to synthesize, and that we are going to take through external diet. So such amino acids, there are 10 in number. So all the 10 you can easily remember. So first you concentrate these 20 amino acid names, then I will give a code. So this is very important 2 mark question, so which is asked many a times. Hence, just to remember the example, I am giving this. So what we learned earlier. So all the basic amino acids are essential to us. So hence you can easily remember at least one example for examination point of view. All the 10 how to remember after the completion of this will take a code to explain. Hope this is clear. So similarly, we'll take non-essential amino acids. If we take the non-essential amino acid, as the name indicates, they are not essential. That means our body is able to synthesize such amino acids. Hence, the amino acids which are synthesized in our body If they are synthesizing means we need not to depend on the external diet for these amino acids. So that is not required to mention. Just you can mention amino acids which are synthesized in our body are called as non-essential amino acids. Are called as non-essential amino acids. So as the basic amino acids are all essential to us, the opposite to it with the character, the acidic amino acids, they are all non-essential to us. That is aspartic acid. Aspartic acid is one example. Glutamic acid is another example. Aspartic acid and glutamic acid similar to essential. So as 10 are essential means remaining 10 will be non-essential amino acid. Together it is 20 amino acids. 10 amino acids among the 20 are essential to us. 10 are not essential. Hence, based on the requirement of human beings, we have this classification. So names you try to observe and don't interchange the answers. The name itself will give the indication. Essential means it is required. So as it is required, we are not able to synthesize it. Hence essential are the amino acids which are not synthesized in our body and need to be taken through the external diet. Whereas non-essential, so they are not needed. That means our body is able to synthesize it. Hence, amino acids which are synthesized in our body are called as non-essential amino acids. Hope this classification is clear. So it is very important to mark the question in for competitive exam. So they will ask in the respective multiple choice. So to pick up the essential from the group or non-essential. So there it is required to remember all the 10-10 as essential, non-essential. If you remember one with this 20 amino acid code, it is sufficient. So that important code we'll try to observe now. Again, this is very important for competitive exam point of view only. So those who are concentrating for theory, just whatever the example mentioned here, so you can concentrate this much, it is sufficient. Don't take it as additional information. If you are having the interest, so this information will be very useful for you. So try to follow this. Now we'll try to see a small code how to consider to remember the essential and non-essential amino acids all. It is all the essential and non-essential we'll try to remember. So very simple code. So I will not make you to remember in a complicated way. Just a simple one. So I will give Matt will fly. Matt will fly. So here only for fly. So Ly you can take it as a single amino acid. Remaining each letter signifies one amino acid. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and these two together it is 1, it is 10. So these are the 10 amino acids so which are essential to us. So just practice this code and expand the names of this to remember. So what are all the names we'll try to understand. So here M for methionine, M for methionine, A for arginine. So you are having so A here. So one more A. So 4 amino acids with alphabet A. So you don't get confused. One aspartic acid you are not having. So it is not there. So because it is not essential to us, that we have already remembered. Now another A you can easily remember. So a basic amino acids one, so that you can easily mention that. So another one you need to remember. So that is what it is important. So you need to concentrate here. Just I have written 2A, it's not correct. It is MATT. Matt will fly. Matt will fly. So A for arginine, so which is essential amino acid. So another two T you can consider. So aromatic amino acid one and the hydroxyl group containing amino acid. So that is threonine. One is threonine. Another T, it is tryptophan, so which is aromatic amino acid, which contains aromatic ring in it. Then, so VIL we can consider as valine, as same pronunciation words what we considered earlier. Valine, isoleucine, leucine. Then PHLY, P for another aromatic amino acid, so it is phenylalanine, phenylalanine. H for histidine, essential amino acid, basic one. Then Ly for lysine. As I have told, all the basic amino acids are essential: lysine, histidine, arginine. I have told to remember clearly. So along with that, so remaining seven are these amino acids: methionine, threonine, tryptophan, valine, isoleucine, leucine, phenylalanine. So if you support these 20 amino acid code, if you remember all, then if you remember this 10 amino acid code, so this 10 will be essential in it. So remaining all will be non-essential. You can able to understand. Now these are all essential amino acids. The mat will fly. Methionine, arginine, threonine, tryptophan, valine, isoleucine, leucine, phenylalanine, histidine, lysine. So hope I am not confusing you, but I am giving all the amino acid name information how we can remember in a better way. So hope I am taking a long duration for this particular explanation, which is very small concept. So you may expect 1 mark or 2 mark from this, but so in addition to it, so it is important for competitive, and so I am taking extra time to understand the classification. I'm helping you to understand this complicated classification in an easier way. So if you see in the textbook, they have given all the 20 amino acids with their structure and all. So, but they have not given the classification in this way to remember. Hence, follow this for easy understanding. Hope this is clear. Now we have few more significance related to the classifications. So that we'll try to mention as points. Then we'll try to go for the proteins, how amino acids will build up the proteins. Okay, just can observe now. So we'll concentrate few special classification. Now there are amino acids with their side chain, they contain sulfur. So they are called as sulfur containing amino acids. So the amino acids which contain sulfur in their side chain, so they are called as sulfur containing amino acids. We have two such amino acids. So it is cysteine and methionine. So CM, what we discussed. So what it is mentioned here, CM, cysteine and methionine. So these are the two amino acids, so which are sulfur containing in them. So as they contain sulfur in their side chain, they are called as sulfur containing amino acid. So you may recall one of the hormone everyone has known about it. It is insulin. So insulin is made up of two polypeptide chain, chain A and chain B. So with 31 amino acid and 20 amino acids in the respective chains. So you are going to see there the chains are linked by disulfide linkages. The disulfide linkages is possible only through the sulfur containing amino acids. So that significance you can relate with this additional classification. So similarly, so you have few more classification. We'll try to learn that. Now, So here, if you observe, it is tryptophan, phenylalanine, and histidine. They have aromatic ring along with this threonine. So they have the aromatic ring in them. So because of presence of that aromatic ring, threonine is not having this histidine, tryptophan, phenylalanine. All these three, they have aromatic ring in its side chain R, hence they are aromatic amino acids. Next, if you take these two, S and T, serine and threonine, so they contain hydroxyl group in their side chain, that is OH group in their side chain. So these two amino acids, due to the presence of their hydroxyl group in its side chain, so they are called as hydroxyl group containing amino acids. So these are few important points: sulfur containing, aromatic, and hydroxyl group containing. So this is an additional information. If you want, you can remember. But now what we are going to learn now is again very important. Just observe this. So it is repeatedly asked for 1 mark question. So if we take the first amino acid here, glycine, is having little special character when compared with the remaining 19. So that we'll try to observe. So in the case of glycine, so here left side amino group, right side carboxylic group, above H, the R group in the case of glycine, it is H. In the case of glycine, the R group is H. As a result of presence of R group as H, so this carbon is not a chiral carbon. So hence glycine is the only optically inactive amino acid. Optically inactive amino acids. So this is asked many a time for 1 mark question. Name the amino acid which is optically inactive. Now optical activity to show the carbon should be a chiral carbon. Then only it will rotate the plane polarized light either towards left hand side or right hand side. So in the case of glycine, as the R group is H, the same two atoms are satisfying the valency for carbon. The carbon is not a chiral carbon, hence it is optically inactive. It is a reason based question. You may expect for 2 mark, or you may get for 1 mark, or they may ask you to write the structure of glycine. All the amino acid structures are not required to remember. You can practice 2 amino acids, glycine and alanine. In the case of glycine, R group you replace by H. In the case of alanine, R group you write it by a methyl group CH3. So this will be the respective structure. Instead of R, if you write H, that will be glycine. Instead of R, if you write CH3, that will be alanine. So these two structures they may ask, try to remember that. So this information and structure is important, 1 mark, 2 mark question. So which is the optically inactive amino acid? It is glycine. Why glycine is optically inactive? Because it is not having a chiral carbon. R group is hydrogen. As 2 hydrogen atoms satisfy the valencies for the same carbon, so the carbon is not a chiral carbon. So carbon is not chiral, or you can make it as carbon as achiral. As a result of this, optical activity is not seen. So this will be an important one then ask. So these are few important points regarding the classification. One more may be helpful based on competitive point of view. P is called as amino acid because in all the amino acids, so these groups are free, amino group and carboxylic group. So whereas in this, it is present in the form of imine ring, hence it is a special amino acid, amino acid. So these are few points so related to the classification. Hope I have not confused. So I will brief the classification again, just concentrate. So based on the presence in the proteins or participating in protein synthesis, we have standard amino acids, non-standard amino acids. There are 20 such standard amino acids. So I have mentioned all the names of that. So try to spend an additional time to practice those names. Next. So if we consider the classification, the first classification, acidic, basic, and neutral amino acids you can learn. Then, so we can concentrate on, so based on the respective nature, so that is based on the requirement by human beings, we have essential amino acids and non-essential amino acids. So these are the two main classification mentioned in the syllabus. Along with that, whatever I have mentioned is additional, but you can concentrate this one as important: optically inactive amino acid, that is glycine. With this basic information of classification, you try to extend what is a zwitterion and how a zwitterion is formed in the solution. Now we'll try to consider what is a zwitterion. So zwitterion is called as a neutral ion. Zwitterion is called as a neutral ion. So which is formed by the amino group. So in the amino acid accepting a proton to become NH3 plus. Similarly, the acidic group in the amino acid, so by losing a proton, so will become COO minus. So the acidic group by donating its proton will become COO minus, and amino group by accepting a proton will become NH3 plus. So such a neutral ion formed in solution is called as a zwitterion. So zwitterionic structure will be the most expected question. So what you can write is that, so H and R group. So NH2 in the basic group, by accepting a proton, you try to mention with the charge it is NH3 plus. And the acidic group by donating its proton is becoming COO minus. So you try to represent the amino group by writing NH3 plus and carboxylic group by writing COO minus. So this structure is called as Zwitter-ionic structure for amino acid. Now what happens in solution, amino group accepts a proton and will become NH3 plus. Acidic group will donate a proton and will become COO minus. Such a neutral ion formed in the solution having both the charges on the same molecule is called as a Zwitter ion. So Zwitter ion concept is a very important concept, so which is a dipolar ion. So Zwitter ion is also mentioned as dipolar ion. So try to remember and practice the Zwitter ion structure for glycine and alanine. Now if we take the glycine structure, the Zwitter ionic structure for glycine, so here the differentiating group H will be there. So amino group will be NH3 plus and carboxylic group will be COO minus. Similarly, another amino acid, alanine, Zwitter ionic structure of alanine is, it is R group is CH3. Amino group will become NH3 plus by accepting a proton. Carboxylic group will become COO minus by donating its proton. Now what you need to concentrate with the difference of glycine structure and alanine structure is that in glycine R group is H, in alanine R group is CH3. So the basic group you need to write it by NH3 plus, acidic group by COO minus, that you focus. So this will be a very important 1 mark as well as 2 mark question. The same is asked in 2 to 3 competitive exams to identify the structure. So with this, I will try to stop for today's class. In the continuation of next class, we'll complete the protein aspect, how these amino acids will combine to form a peptide, and with the information of peptide, we'll try to complete the structure of proteins in our next class. Thank you.